Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called The Worst Places to Invest Your Money. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on those notification bells so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Now, let's get started. Investing is not as easy as it used to be. In fact, you could go a step further and say it's become exponentially more difficult. In fact, investing is now a great way to lose all or most of your money if you're not extremely careful. So, we did the research and decided to put together a list of the worst places to invest your money these days. We don't give investment advice, we're just telling you what a lot of wealthy insiders believe. First, let's start out with jewelry. Jewelry is probably one of the worst investments you could ever make. If you want to buy something because it looks nice and you're very fond of it, then go ahead and buy it. But don't buy it because you think it's going to increase in value down the road, because it will not. Don't buy diamonds or rubies or any of that nonsense. You're better off buying gold or silver coins. At least those things will retain most of their value. If you spent $1,000 on a piece of jewelry and then walk down the street to a pawn shop, then you'd be very lucky if they offered you 25% of what you just paid for it. The rest of its value has just been flushed down the toilet minutes after you purchased it. Gone. Next, we have the stock market. The most valued and potentially profitable stocks these days are the tech stocks and some, not all, but some of the AI stocks like Nvidia. These stocks are the backbone and the most profitable of the stocks on the market. Most of the other stocks are just a waste of time and money. In fact, most people will stay away from the stocks that don't fall into the two categories we just described above. Next, believe it or not, there are still some scammers out there still trying to sell timeshares to unsuspecting rubes. Whether they're young or old, they're usually low information individuals who are easily deceived. The painful thing about timeshares is that they are amongst the worst investments ever. And if you try and sell them or unload them, you'll find that they're harder to get rid of than an Alabama tick. So how do people unload these donkeys? That's all they are, they're just donkeys. Well, there is now an entire industry out there that helps people get rid of their timeshares. Imagine what a desirable investment these timeshares are that you can't really unload them on your own anymore. You have to hire experts to help you dump this nonsense. Next, we have real estate. First of all, stay away from all commercial real estate. I don't care how good the deal is. Some of these buildings have lost 96% of their value, and they were bought and sold by experts, people who've been in the business for decades, and they still lost 96% of their money. One bank recently sold a commercial building for 4 cents on the dollar and had to write that tremendous loss off. Can you imagine spending $160 million to buy a piece of commercial real estate, and then just a few years later, when all the tenants have gone or disappeared or gone bust themselves, can you imagine spending $160 million to buy a commercial building, and then just a few years later, you have to unload it for $6 million? How many people at the bank do you think will get fired for putting that deal together? In my opinion, all of them should have. Now, multiply that times all the other banks out there who have invested in commercial real estate and then lost everything. And you'll understand why so many banks are now in deep trouble and could soon go bust. Next, we have retail. A lot of people now believe that retail is a great way to go bankrupt. Have you seen how many stores out there each day are having all their inventory stolen by shoplifters? Imagine being the owner of those retail stores. Have you seen how hard it is to hire cashiers or salespeople and wondered why lately? Well, that's because cashiers and salespeople at these retail locations, they're getting attacked, knocked out, beat, they're getting stomped. Imagine you're making minimum wage working some crappy retail job, and now you're on a life support machine at the hospital. No one wants to risk their lives for a minimum wage job anymore. It's just too much risk. Now, what about banks and savings accounts? Well, most people believe that banks don't pay enough interest, so a lot of people are concerned about their future. Not just the account holders, but the market in general. They fear that many banks have over-leveraged themselves and made terrible loans over the years, and now those loans are not being paid back. They also fear that banks will start seizing or confiscating the savings of account holders once the banks get into even more trouble. What about buying gold and silver and then storing it somewhere? Is that a good idea? Is that safe? Well, that's something only you can decide. It depends on how much of your wealth you allocate to gold and silver. Don't put all your money into it. It also depends on how carefully you hide it and how easily you can convert it to cash without too much penalty or without paying too much of a premium down the road. What about Bitcoin? Well, we don't give investment advice, but Bitcoin has been rising lately. Does that mean it'll continue to rise? Who knows? Could it drop dramatically and cause you to lose most of your investment? Nobody knows. Who knows? Be careful, people. There are a lot of terrible things and places to invest in these days, so do tons of research and then be extra cautious. Your financial life may depend on it. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to notify all your friends and family and other people you know on social media. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's episode of our show on your social media to help get the word out. Thank you, and we shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.